has women's equality changed since you started your career?
Well, it depends on the country, but certainly in Europe and in the United States, although there's still a lot of gender inequality, nevertheless, there are women in just about every business, they're everywhere. I mean, they can get into business, they can become engineers, they can become astronauts, they can dive deep in the ocean. They can do things that it used to be thought only men could do. And so there's a huge change there, even though there's further to go. And countries like Tanzania, in the rural areas, it's very traditional. And still parts of Kenya and Ethiopia, there's female genital mutilation, although that's beginning to change. And we've had quite a major impact on this in Tanzania, because it was when I was flying over the tiny Gombe National Park, where, by the way, we still study the chimps. We just celebrated our 60th anniversary. And it was when I began in 60, it was part of a great equatorial forest belt stretching across Africa. But by the late 80s, when I flew over in a tiny plane, it was shocking. I was looking down at a very small island of forest surrounded by completely bare hills, clearly more people living there than the land could support, too poor to buy food from elsewhere, struggling to survive. And that's when it hit me. If we don't help these people find ways of making a living without destroying the environment, then we can't save chimps, forests, or anything else. And so the Jane Goodall Institute, JGI, we began a program called Take Care or Tukari, which is our method of community-led conservation. And right from the start, there was no arrogant group of white people going into a poor African village and telling them what we were going to do to make their lives better. No. We started with the 12 villages around the boundary of Gombe, and with a hand-picked group of 7 local Tanzanians. None of them had PhDs, but they'd all worked in NGOs like forestry, agriculture, education, and so on. And they went into the villages and listened to the people. What can we do to help you make your lives better? Well, grow more food, please, and better health and better education. So that's where we started. And then as the people came to trust us, we could introduce water management programs. And then we started raising money for scholarships to keep girls in school, because it's been shown all around the world that as women's education improves, family size tends to drop. And we also provide family planning. And what's interesting is that even in these rural areas, people have access to the outside world through technology. And they see education as a way of their children lifting themselves out of poverty. Well, the average number of children a woman was having was 8 to 10 when I arrived. But they can't afford to educate that many children. It's not cheap. And so they was so welcoming of family planning. And even the men, that was a surprise to us, but they came and asked for vasectomies because they couldn't afford to keep more children. And so we also introduced Mohammed Yunus's Grameen Bank, the microcredit opportunities, and that's particularly for women who tend to be the ones who pay back. The men tend to get all excited when they've been successful and go and drink with their buddies, in the beer bars. But we've had almost all the borrowed money returned, and it is for a group to decide on their own environmentally sustainable small business, like a tree nursery, like a few chickens, something like that. And because it's not a gift handed out, it's something they've earned when they pay the money back, and they're proud of it. They've done it themselves. And I think that has just so important. A sense of pride and ownership.